Hey, Mama, you're listening to the Money Hungry Mama podcast, the place where moms come to build profitable, purposeful businesses during nap time and beyond. I'm Brittany Plumeri, and before we jump in, join our free Money Hungry Mama community on Facebook. It's full of women building big dreams between diaper changes and deadlines. Come find your people, search the Money Hungry Mama community, or links in the show notes. Let's get into it. You know how your kids have 47 new outfits for summer and you're still rocking the same black tank top from 2019? Yeah, same. That's why I love this summer sponsor, Mauve Shop Boutique, a mom-owned shop built by a mama who actually gets it. Trendy, wearable pieces that make you feel like yourself again. And here's the best part. They ship anywhere in the country, so you can fill your cart from the couch after bedtime. Free shipping on orders over $75. And use my code, MHM10, because trust me, it feels fast. Mauve Shop Boutique, where you come to feel like you, and as they say, see you in the fitting room. Raise your hand if you're planning a family vacation. Sounds almost as exhausting as the vacation itself. Yeah, me too. That's why I want you to know about the summer sponsor, Wishes Family Travel with Sue. Sue is a Disney earmarked travel agent who plans stress-free trips for real families. And she's especially wonderful with young kids and food allergies, so nothing slips through the cracks. Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, all-inclusive resorts, even honeymoons. She handles every little detail so you actually get to relax because your time together is precious and it should feel magical, not overwhelming. Adventure is out there and Sue can help you plan yours. Follow her on Instagram at Wishes Family Travel with Sue. And remember, she's free to use. I'm so excited because I have Lexi here today. Lexi, take it away.
Thanks. I am so excited to be here as well. I've been listening to your podcast since the beginning, and congratulations on your book tour that's coming up here. I have not read it yet, but I'm really excited to read it. So that is on my summer to-do list when I get some time at the beach, but hopefully get some more time at the beach. So I'm Lexi Birmingham. I am founder and CEO of Bermo. And what we are is we are a talent and growth marketplace for founder-led companies. So basically, yes, throughout my entire career, I've seen a ton of companies and startups that get stuck or stalled at a certain point. Doing it myself, it can be really intimidating and there's so much to tackle, and having that balance of having family time and being able to be present in your life, but then also being able to be a driven and successful woman, I think, or individual parent, is extremely important in this day and age. And I saw so many companies where they were on the inside working, trying to build a business, watching their family play outside, not able to get out there. They're stalled. They've spent either too much money or they don't know what they need to do next or spend money on next. And my whole point of Bermo is to alleviate that, give them a clear path, make sure that I go into a company. The first thing I always do is I created a gap scan that allows me to fully audit the company and figure out exactly where revenue is slipping or where we could reallocate that revenue to make sure that we're spending it on the correct next steps. So never jumping in and saying, oh, we're just going to get you marketing or we're going to get you, viral online, because it was an analogy I used to someone the other day. Imagine if Taylor Swift just had her wedding. Imagine she was wearing someone's product and it goes viral. Everybody wants it, but you don't have the foundation to support that yet. That's the death. That could be the death of a company, and so overwhelming. So I take a look. Okay, we're going to get there. What do we need to do first? What's the right way to do it? And how can we do it in an affordable sense? And that's really what I stand for. I think a little bit further on the specifics is I take a look at your branding, your messaging, all of those factors. But I also take a look at AI is such a hot topic right now that I think every company should really be utilizing it, but making sure that they're still translating their own voice and keeping their own voice. Claude isn't running their company. And so I take a look at a company. Where can we make sure that AI workflows are happening to make you be able to go out and spend time with your family? But how can we do it so that you still keep your voice? You don't sound like everybody else out there. And you're also translating your language so that a buyer fully understands what you do. So I kind of take a look at all those factors and help companies where I can.
Wow. Okay. So this is like really interesting because I love the fact that you're kind of going through and you're helping them in the different avenues, right? Like you're helping them figure
Yes.
out to be able to, I think, okay. It's like my head is like reeling with everything. To be a business owner, right? Like, for the moms listening, we have people that are wanting to find something. We have people that have a dedicated side hustle. We have people that are taking their side hustle and kind of transferring it into a full-time business. You are sitting in a spot where I think it's amazing for those businesses that are a full-time business to kind of take everything that they're doing and be like, okay, this is where your gaps are, right? Because I truly and I love how you said, like, use AI, but obviously AI is not you. I think it's very easy, and we say it all the time, like, we could tell who's writing from AI and who's not. And I think it's really cool that you're helping people understand, like, yes, it can help you, but it
Mhm.
shouldn't be you. You should
Completely.
be running the AI and not the other way around. I think, you know,
Mhm.
I feel like it's like shiny object syndrome. Like AI
It
came and
is.
it's like, oh my God, like I don't have to write my newsletter. Like, let me just put it into AI and it'll do it for me. But the problem is when they're doing that, it sounds all the same. Every newsletter
Yes.
sounds the same.
It is. You can truly identify exactly what in there. Like I now, because I've been doing it, I can jump in and see exactly like where it sounds AI and where it isn't. But I think that's where the hard line is, because I know for myself, one of my, like, I love doing social media, and obviously little Bermo, my son, I have his social media and I love having fun with it, but it is so time consuming, and there are so many apps out there now. And do I, it's like basically like the Netflix, HBO subscriptions, where you could be ending up spending like $200-300 a month with 50 different subscriptions. And my whole purpose with that is that with AI now, I found out that I'm going to say 90% of those apps you can build yourself. So I was
Wow.
on maternity leave. I was working with a large organization. It was actually an enterprise, a $1 billion enterprise organization. And I was a leadership sales and recruiting a VP over there, and took the time off when I was on my maternity leave, and spent about 6 months fully educating and learning Claude. And while obviously being an active part of my son, I was also able to, within, and this is, I say this to all the women out there, like, and partners and everything. I spent 6 months fully learning Claude and completely building an entire AI infrastructure completely myself, cutting out 90% of all subscriptions down to like a CRM, down to a gap scan that I literally press one button on and it can pull me up every detail of an organization, a company, who works for the company, what were they at, any recent conferences, podcasts. Like, it breaks down everything for me. It translates all of those, but the thing that I did that was so important is all of it is, one is my voice, but it all has parameters where it can't do anything to a customer fully without me entirely reading it and seeing what it is, because I want to
Mhm.
make sure it's human, and it understands, those parameters. But it has
100%.
the efficiency part there. And to be able to, I think with AI, be able to quit your corporate job, be able to be present with your family, but be able to build an internal infrastructure extremely lean,
Yeah.
is an incredible thing now. And so that's where I try to jump into these startups who are lost on which programs they should be using. Maybe, marketing, hiring someone in marketing is really important, but it may not be what they need first. And
Yep.
if there's something that's outside of what I can physically do for a company, because I was in recruiting, I have an entirely recruited, vetted team of specialists that can jump into basically any area, and can help with what that need is if it's something that is outside of what I personally directly do with the individual.
That is really exciting. Okay. I think what it's kind of like so okay, I will say, obviously I write books, right? So AI, if you go into the author world, it's like stay away. It is
Yeah.
like big red flags of don't do it, right? And even now, like there's a lot of authors that obviously, I mean, it's their livelihood to be writing books and things, and AI can generate things in minutes. And there's not a lot of staples, but I think there's going to be. I want everybody that hears me that's an
Yes.
author. I think there's going to be a wave that Amazon officially like hits, because when you put in any new books in the past like 2 years, you would have to choose if it was AI or not. So there's a part of me that does think a wave is coming and it's going to knock out all the AI. I also think, social media has caught on and it's like
It has.
AI
It
info.
pushes you now for that.
Yeah, it's
Like, it
it's
has.
literally like right there. So like
Mhm.
I love to make it with a graphic and it's like, okay, like this is amazing. It looks great. Like instead of spending, if you want somebody else to make your graphic like $50 or spending an hour doing it yourself, like AI can do it in a minute, but it now says AI info. And it's like, oh, that's so annoying because the writing isn't AI, but at the same time, it's like I did make it with AI. So I think
Yeah.
there is a wave coming of really making it known. But what she's saying is not using AI to do your writing and become you. What she's saying is to build an infrastructure to completely help find your business, like to be able to be in my mind, as you were saying thing, like when you're in a business, you're hiring a researcher, you're hiring somebody who is looking at the market and seeing where you can fit in. And AI building these things to help you to be your systems is just honestly going to save you so much money in the long haul, because it could put it out in minutes. And then you're the one that's reading it over. This is really cool in a way I never thought to use it.
And I think the biggest thing too with it is with myself, I kind of discovered a gap. So I don't know if you listened to recently, Reese Witherspoon with Hello Sunshine had a podcast with Riza, and he basically is a professor at Harvard Business School, and he just did a podcast that was with her. And what was really amazing about that podcast is she talked about how she found a gap in the market. There was nothing out there that was primarily women led stories. Everything was that women were kind of the side part of it. And she found the gap. She got turned down a ton of times, told that she was crazy, that this wasn't going to be anything, didn't give up, kept going to build it. And then and basically from that situation, she sold it a couple years ago for $1 billion because she didn't give up. And I think, like, I've read that and it was so motivational because in part of it, she says, and don't quote me on the exacts, but she said that, the biggest move isn't just doing good work for a company. It's to make sure that you own the IP and that company like carries it forward basically. And so what I did with mine is, and I think a lot of people help with AI workflows, and AI is changing so rapidly that I think it's very
So
challenging to like just I see all the time all these AI startups, everyone's rushing to the end line and trying to have the newest AI product, but all is in 1 or 2 days a whole new system comes out and they're having to pivot. So what I really found is kind of that white space for myself with Bermo was really kind of that IP level of making sure that companies are able to keep that for themselves. So bringing that AI workflow to them, but one, having everything be custom coded for themselves, so that they can own it for them. They can own that code. They're not having to have it on a CRM or anything along those lines. But even further, I think it's like the voice, the translation, keeping that vision, with them, and making sure that every company is their own IP rather than just a good idea out there. Like, what is that gap in the market for them? And then, how can we make sure we apply that to them basically?
yeah. It's so interesting because like you're it's like I forget what kids movie. It's like you're trying to talk to me. I know it. And it's like I'm trying to like listen to what you're saying, but it's just, you understand AI so well that like it's absolutely, and you have just been able to really master it, which is you can tell in just the fact that like you're talking like the 6 months that you do it. And I'm like, I feel like I just needed an example to understand because I'm like, this is wild to me. This is like a whole new different concept.
It's it definitely is. It's amazing world out there. So for example, I just worked with this company, Ramsey, and they are a revenue management hospitality company, amazing company. I think they're one of the founders actually created like the pricing science behind like global airlines and e-commerce. Like they're unbelievable over there. But they hired me on because one, their website was completely in tech language, and if you don't know what AI is, then you're not going to know what their website stood for. They had a marketing budget, obviously a startup. So it's, they want to stay lean, which everyone should. And they were really wanted to have their website seen. They want every company they want visibility out there. Everybody wants to have their company seen and be visible for the right messaging. And so I jumped in there. Initially, they thought they wanted just the website. And, along with me, it's never just a website or it's never just a service. You're going to get the strategy, the branding. Like that's just, if you don't want that, then you can go and get, that freelancer that handles the website. And I'm going to give you more than that. And
Love
so I
it.
went in there and completely retransformed the branding of their website to be their target buyer. I did a ton of research on it. I used my gap scan that I have, which I can go into more on.
Yeah.
I used that to find out exactly where their gaps in the market were, what language are competitors using, what languages are being missed. I looked at even like, let's get into the actual brain of their buyer and translate it into that verbiage. And then even more so, what I do is I don't just translate it to your buyer because you obviously need that, but I translate it to AI's brain as well. So I take it to what AI needs to read because they say now, depending your market, but roughly 60% of buyers go to AI now to find who they want to shop. It's not Google anymore. It's not SEO. It's GEO. And so in order to be found, these AI platforms basically are your pipeline. Like they're what brings your business in. So if you're not being found on them, you're not going to have as large of a pipeline. But you also need to have that language be to the buyer's language as well, because then they go to your site. And it's so easy to be you're so close to your business that how do you sometimes see outside of that? So when they go to your website, they need to also be able to understand if that's what your product does. All right, let's convert.
Yeah,
Let's get a
for
sale out
sure.
of this. So tackling both of those. And what's really great about this company is I within the first month, I met with, they had a couple of freelancers and none of them were talking with each other. So it's all disconnected work. I audited the company. I spoke with the freelancers. It ended up, one of them was giving them fluffy Excel sheets and not actually producing the work, unfortunately. So I spoke with them, audited them. We ended up being able to save about $25,000 and reallocated it into the right areas. And just in the month of their website being redone, they've seen a 50% uptick in traffic. They just got called out on LinkedIn. A company found them as one of the top companies within their category, and a tech company sought them out and listed them. And then on top of that, just their website traffic too has increased. I think it said it was something between, depending which area you're looking at, it was like the 30 to 50% that they've seen just in that. So it can really create such an impact to have branding, like all these things kind of tie into one.
Well, for sure. See, and like all of that, obviously understood. It was the way that I wasn't processing the AI, which is crazy. Like just the way that it was like coming through AI, which is wild. So that is really cool. So you call it a gap scan because I get it, guys. It took a minute because you're taking everything, you're putting it through the AI and what the system that you already built out to decide all of these audits, right? And then it sits back to you, you double check, you make it human, you send it, you fix it.
Yep. And what's really cool with the gap scan I built is that it took me, I mean, it's still working, like I'm still working on it, but it took me about 6 months because it is my brain.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
basically what it does is it doesn't like anybody can find information on somebody, but what I taught it to do is I taught it to recognize and think and see the patterns that I've seen in my career history. It's all been like helping build companies, so pattern recognition. So I created it to see it, but also understand it, not just the patterns I see, but the exact paths I go on. Like I have it actually understand all of that so that when it summarizes a company, it summarizes exactly what I'm looking for and what I want to find within that company. And I always double check it and do my research too. But the amount of time it saves me, like being able to find all these different gaps.
I love this so much. Oh my gosh. And I'm just adding this in here now because I would love for you to teach this, like to do like a webinar on how to
I
build
would,
out a Claude
I would
for a
love
business.
I love that's I'm actually funny enough with Ramsey who I was working with. I'm going to we got them a marketing girl who's because my whole goal is to not stay in a company forever. It's to
Yeah.
escape
You
out
want
of it
them to grow.
afterwards. I want them to be dependent on themselves. So I'm actually going to be training their marketing girl on how to build some of this and handle this AI and keeping up to date on the GEO and the website. And SEO is still important. It's just it's SEO helps GEO, which is
Yeah.
the languages in order to be on AI platforms. It has to read all of those things. But I'm going to show her what she needs to do to make sure everything's checked and updated.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to talk
I'd love to. I love
because
teaching people.
yes, we are talking because this is happening. This is happening. I need to write it
I
down.
even
We're doing it.
I'd even love to, and I can send it out to call. I can run a gap scan for you, and you can have one of those results.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Yes, no, 100%. This is happening. I love this so much, guys. Like I feel like this is why I love this podcast and meeting all of you because if anybody literally sat down and consecutively listened to these podcast episodes, like you would have a completely thriving business because nobody knows the grit from the beginning. Like when people are making millions of dollars, they forget about all the steps that it took to get there. They just remember what got like the end result. So this is amazing. I love this so much. So, okay. I also want to say I was really surprised. I obviously have that free Money Hungry Mama Facebook group that anybody can join. And somebody joined recently saying ChatGPT told me to join. I was like, what? Chat's stalking my Facebook? I was like, oh my God, that's so funny. So
That
that's
is
really cool. Yeah, she's so right. Like people are now finding your businesses through AI, asking it questions. And honestly, I've done the same thing. I
hmm
literally was like, okay, I would love, what should I wear to my first
yes.
book tour event? I really did, guys. And I was like, what would be a good thing? And I put my picture in and it gave me a really cute outfit. So I didn't even realize I was
See,
doing it. That's
it's
so funny.
that I was actually going to ask you like when do you jump into like ChatGPT or any like when do you jump into which that kind of answers it because
Yeah.
even because I know, like you said, a lot of people, you've got, I just went to a conference, High Tech, and basically I noticed a bunch of different individuals there. You either had your individuals that completely were AI nerds and I say dream in Claude code, which how they build everything because you're so involved in it. You've got your people on the other end of it that don't want to use AI are kind of either scared of it or frustrated by it or, have been told not to. And then you've got your people who are kind of in between and are a little bit like lost. They use it, but they're may not even, it may be taking them more time to actually use it than what they're actually getting out of it.
Hmm.
And then even the people who know it really well, a lot of them like to say, like, are you running your company or is AI running your company, like we talked about?
Yeah.
But I think that the nice thing is there's so many areas that you can be using it. Like, for example, what you just said there. So when you like the clothing companies that got recommended to you, like that's going to be something, or like I'll ask about like makeup or these types of things,
Yeah.
and it recommends like what I should get and
Yep.
why. So even for yourself, it's like, okay, am I coming up, like, I'm not using it on my book or those areas, but am I coming up on AI searches or am I, is my branding understood or it may not be what you're writing in the book, but like, am I utilizing the right workflows to support me? And like,
Mhm.
you can write your own social media, but I have a social media agent that does all of my publishing of the actual, like once I make it, I made my own template. It then just fills in the words and sends it out. and it doesn't read it as AI because it's my template I made. It just fills in the text for me so that I don't have to, and then publishes it for the week.
Wow.
So like things like that where you're still you.
Yeah, no, I love it so much. And like, so I have used it for makeup recently. Like,
Yes.
this is what I'm using AI for. When people are like,
Yes.
oh, like I'm using it for whatever, I'm like,
Mm.
okay, give me a makeup routine that's easy for me to
Yes.
use.
I just did
And
it the
no,
other day.
it's, yeah. And I bought the products. Like, it
Me
literally
too.
gives me the link of how to buy them.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, this is great. I was
Yep.
like, this, like, I'm just like buying what it's telling me to buy. And honestly, guys, it worked out really well. I did a little test the other day. I want to say it was either yesterday or the day before. And I was like thrilled with my results. I was like, I don't know how you found these makeup products, but like I would have been lost for hours trying to figure this out.
Well, I feel like I go into Ulta and I go in there like with a purpose, and then I get so lost in there because there's so many different options. What am I going to buy? And the last time I went in there, I took a picture of my face
Yep.
and I put it into it. I took a picture of the products I currently have. And then I was like, what should I be using? Because I don't love the products I'm using right now. And it gave me an entire list. I went in there, stayed focused, got my list.
It works so well. And I'm gonna do a little plug here. Jones Road tinted moisturizer is hands down the best I've ever used. Like I did like a tinted moisturizer saga, asked everybody to give me recommendations, 10 out of 10. So if you needed like a tinted moisturizer where you don't want like full coverage, Jones Road has been zero sponsor. Zero sponsor. I just really
Yeah.
genuinely like.
I'll have to check them out.
Yeah, it was a really, really good one. Yeah, it's so funny. I'm like, yeah, if you need tinted moisturizer, I already went through like 10 different brands and that one was the one that was my favorite.
It's
So
so hard to, that's that product. That's the area that's my area I get lost in is
yeah.
makeup and beauty products. I'm like, okay, I have zero idea on it.
No, it's
And it
crazy.
helps.
It's crazy. I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody teach me. And now AI is. This is
It is.
so interesting. I love this so much because I think that, obviously I'm using it for shopping purposes, but I see people
Yeah.
all the time that's
But
like, if you're not using
yeah.
AI for like whatever, like you're behind. And I absolutely am behind because for so long, especially being an author with the book coming out September 8th, like I didn't want people to associate me with it because this book was written way before AI was even a thing. So it's like, I was like nervous because a lot of the authors got in my head with it too. Like if you go into these author groups, oh my gosh, it's like you literally should just like quit and like never speak again if you use it for anything.
Well, they're not going to say that to you if you're showing up in like AI for the right ways. They're going to say, "Wait,
Exactly.
how are you doing it?"
Exactly. Exactly. And now definitely, obviously, I've branched out a lot from being just an author. And I think it's really cool with all these like things that you can do with it. But hearing how you're doing it and how you trained it so well to work for you and your business, like in my mind, like these small businesses are coming up that have been on here. And it's like, even just so there's this one business called LML Beads and she does silicone beading. And I'm like, I wonder if she trained it so well, could it come up with beading patterns for her? And like, you know what I mean? Like, that's so interesting to me.
It can really do anything you want it to do, and especially too, I think that's where it's important to also you don't have a million memberships. Make sure that like you're
Yeah.
building on your own. I know you have to have the time to do it and all too, and it can be tokens and it can be expensive and things, and that's why I try and train and educate people on how to do it efficiently. But it's so true, and it's the thing that's important with anyone on it. For example, my mom is in an she works in an art gallery in New Mexico, Weems, and within her gallery, I was chatting with her on AI, AI search and websites, and a controversial subject right now is I think everybody is saying SEO, what the importance of it, and then is a website important anymore? Or is it going out the window to like social media or to AI or whatever your area is? And this was a conversation I was having with her because one, I think people need to stop spending money on specifically SEO. I think that you need SEO but a lot of people don't realize that, and they're still spending so much money on it, and it's just it's not efficient. And then websites, I think, got a promotion. I think they're more
Yeah.
important now more than ever, which is a controversial subject because a lot of people are like, are they even
Yeah.
important anymore? And I was telling her, I was like, you're not in a tech world, but you're in a world where your website is still important, and having those, being findable on AI and all of that is so critical. And that's where your website isn't the only thing that's important in it, but it is your foundation. It's where everybody finds you from Google search SEO, which is which is what that is, or AI search, which is GEO. They all start at a website. There's a huge amount of other factors you have to pay attention to, but that's a starting point. And if they can't read you, you're not findable by either. And then when someone does find you, they go to your website and it is a trust source. Are you a real business? Are you reputable? If your website at least looks professional and modern, then I trust you for whatever the next thing is. And conversion point. If a person spends 15 seconds on a website, so when they finally find you and go to your website, if they're bored or confused or uninterested, they're going to leave before they can get converted.
100%. Oh my gosh. You just are like this like wealth of wisdom to all of us. I know everybody listening right now is like, oh my gosh, I have to learn GEO. I have to get on AI. I have to do these things. And I think like, stay tuned because I am absolutely making this happen. And we will do a Money Hungry Mama Lexi combo here where she can really help us understand it. Because I think, especially from somebody, as we heard at the beginning, I use it for silly things, but I think learning how to talk to it, like you said. So, like, for anybody that does not use AI, because I know I do have some listeners that are very nervous about it. For anybody that does not use AI, how it works is you pay a monthly subscription and then you get tokens. And if you ask it too many questions in a certain amount of time, you used up all your usage, which means that you either have to buy more into it or you have to wait until a certain time to be able to ask it more questions again. So, what Lexi's saying is she would help us be able to talk to it so we're getting to our questions faster, right? Like I found that out with my foundation saga. So like if you don't ask it the appropriate questions, it takes more time to think. But by using certain terms and figuring out certain ways, because she deep dived for 6 months, she knows how to get to it faster and be able to use your usage without needing to A, pay more, or B, wait until a full day to be able to keep going.
Yeah, that should never be. I mean, I'm coding all day long on it, and I do the only subscriptions I use is because there's so many systems out there too. It's so
Many.
confusing. And but I use Claude. So Claude does all my coding, and even with that, I do have like the pro membership, which I believe is $100 a month. But I'm doing my entire business
Yeah,
coding and everything. So like that's running even when I'm not
for
at
sure.
home, when I'm with my kid and hanging out and everything. I have him like he's running in the background doing like something for me. But it's understanding the prompts to give it, because I think a lot of people think like you can just prompt it to go do something, and that can cost a lot of tokens. It cannot get you what you want, and it can sound like everybody else. You have to understand the proper prompts, the proper problem solving organizations. So you're not copy and pasting every time. And then it can just be very simple as to thing that you prompt into it, and it can handle all of that for you. And then of course you can go back in it and change like verbiage or think like if it has to do with anything like that, you can change it. But like so that's a subscription. And then I was spent so much time trying to find. A lot of companies will need either a PMS, like a processing system, a POS, a CRM, all these different systems to support whether they're having sales, they're trying to track leads, all these things. And I'm like, okay, it's $100 a month for this one. It's this for that one. Oh my gosh. So I got Vercel and I got Supabase, and they're just memory platforms, and everything is built on that. It's like a giant Excel that I can create to look like whatever I want, like an app basically. And it looks like whatever I want it to look like, holds everything. It's agentic. So it can run and think for itself and problem solve and alert me when it finds certain things. It can do all of that, but everything is set to an alert that it tells me before it doesn't act. So it does all the problem solving and comes. And then even like you said, like when people are using these subscriptions, like it's my goal is to make it like you're only using what you need. You can build your own. I have my own chat bot within my system that has its own. It's working with me. It's not taking up all these tokens because I've built it. It just reads off my system, so it can't go outside of that because that's where tokens come in. But it's fine working within its parameters. So it's different things like that that I'm happy to like help everyone understand.
Yeah, it's going to be like a 2-hour webinar.
I'm
I
I'm
don't
super
even know the
excited.
other two things that you just said. I'm like, guys, this
That's
is going
where,
to be, oh my gosh, balloons. This is
yeah.
going to be so extremely valuable. I am so excited that we connected. I think this is going to like blow the mind of the money hungry mamas out there because this is so needed and it's so helpful, especially to
It is.
those, just starting or maybe some that aren't at the mark that they want to be at. But I think that this is going to
It
really
is.
help so many people.
It's doable. I mean, look, I quit. I had non-competes. I had to quit. I couldn't do both. But quit my job altogether that I had been in for 15 years with a corporate company and just was on maternity leave, able to fully spend time. Like I decided to quit my business while I was sitting in a restaurant with my husband and my son. I think he was 6 months old, and we wanted to take a vacation to Miami. I'm eating a lobster roll, and he goes, "Do it," because this is the time. He was like, "Take a week off," though. I'm like, "No, no, no. When I get back, I'm focused." And I just like it's doable. Like I taught myself Claude in 6 months, and like I hadn't used him before. I hadn't used these systems before, and you know what? It's for anybody out there, like it's doable. Like it can be done.
Yeah.
And you even said one thing you said that stuck out to me is, you were like, "Oh, well, I'm just using AI for silly things." But what I think you don't realize is your silly is someone else's business because
Yeah.
like you just looking it up for makeup or clothing, it may be just fun for you, but what you end up buying is someone else's product that they now were
100%.
able to put out there.
100%. Oh my gosh, chills that you just said that. Chill. I
It's so much
love
fun too.
that. I love that. It's so funny because like this conversation is just pure gold in so many ways because it's something that one, I clearly did not understand at the start of it. And now I'm so excited to learn it because of the perspective of how you're saying it, right? Like if we can all figure these out, right? And it's so funny that you brought up Reese Witherspoon earlier too, because she just came across my feed when she's like, in the movies when they say it's always the woman that turns like, what are we gonna do next? She goes, as
Mhm.
if it's not the women that are like, this is what I'm doing next. Like, and I think that resonated so well with me because yes, we hit down moments, and yes, we might say like, what are we gonna do next? But like, we're gonna figure it out. Like, we don't just sit there and go, no. Like, we're gonna figure out how to do what's next. So
100%.
I think that it's just like so, it's always serendipitous on this podcast how things
I
work.
love it.
I just think it's so cool. And this is going to be so great. I will absolutely, I know. I try to keep this nice in like 30, 40 minutes. I know us mamas have a lot to do. So I'm going to put it out there. We will figure this out. There will be a webinar. I promise you all. And Lexi, I just want to ask my favorite question. What does being
Yeah.
a money hungry mama mean to you?
Definitely. So I love the phrase because I think that it puts really the language around what so many of us are already living. I think, moms or parents even, who want more income, more options, more freedom for their families. They're afraid of burning out, sacrificing motherhood to build something is doable. And my story, I think, is a perfect example of doing it on maternity leave and still being able to spend that time with your family. And I think that that right there is really what drove me to build Bermo. I think I'd mentioned it, and I'll keep that part brief, but there's so many founders I spoke to who literally said, I'm sitting in my house right now watching my kids outside playing. I'm still catching up from 3 weeks worth of work, 4 emails, 7 systems. Like, I don't know what to do right now. And I watched that so many times, and my whole goal was like, okay, well, we're gonna figure this out, and I'm gonna change the odds. And how many startups only make it to 2 years? It's not gonna be the case anymore. We're gonna make these startups successful and actually turn a real ROI while keeping a price that's lean. And that's really what I think being a money hungry mama is being able to be with your family and have your kids look at you and be proud of you one day for what you accomplished and not being missing from their life.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So incredible what you're doing. I really can't wait to see all of your success and all the people
Thank
that
you.
you help. And Lexi, where can our listeners support you?
Yeah, definitely. So you can go to my Instagram at Bermo Co. I'm also on LinkedIn. Alexandra Birmingham is what my LinkedIn is. And then my website, which would be bermoco.com. All of those places you can easily find me.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your wisdom today.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful speaking with you.